The moment Arman answered, nothing in the world reacted the way he expected it to. There was no explosion of light. No collapse of matter. No violent rewriting of reality like a broken simulation tearing itself apart. Instead, everything simply paused, not physically, but structurally, like the entire system had quietly registered a change in state. It wasn't shock. It was acknowledgement. And that acknowledgement spread everywhere at once. The bridge, the river beneath it, the soldiers standing across its span, even the suffocating fog overhead, all of it entered a condition that could not be described as silence. It was closer to evaluation. As if something vast and unseen had turned its attention fully toward Arman and was now measuring what his answer had actually done. For a brief moment, the world felt weightless. Then the question returned. Not spoken. Not heard. But present in every layer of thought like it had always been there. Do you confirm continuation of the structure? Arman's mind struggled to assign meaning to it. The word structure no longer referred to anything concrete. It wasn't just the bridge anymore. It wasn't even the system beneath it. The word had expanded into something uncontainable, something that felt like it included the rules that allowed reality to remain consistent in the first place. Around him, the soldiers no longer behaved like separate individuals. They stood in precise positions, not chosen but assigned, as if invisible coordinates had replaced free will. One of them tried to shift his stance and stopped mid-motion, not physically restrained, but corrected internally, like his body had rejected unauthorized deviation. Another slowly tilted his head, eyes unfocused, reacting to instructions that bypassed sound entirely. The squad leader was the only one still partially resisting full integration. His expression flickered constantly now, brief flashes of recognition interrupted by something colder that tried to use his perception had been stretched across multiple points of the bridge simultaneously. He could feel fragments of himself observing different angles of the same scene, none of them fully dominant. And beneath everything, the black geometry remained. It was no longer rising. No longer expanding. It was listening. The question repeated again. Closer now, not in space, but in precision. Do you confirm continuation of the structure? This time, Arman felt something different inside it. Not demand. Not command. But testing. As if the question was not asking for permission, but measuring whether contradiction could exist inside him without destabilizing the entire system. The squad leader spoke without looking at him. Don't answer incorrectly. Arman turned slightly toward him, not physically, but in attention. What happens if I do? The pause that followed was too long to feel human. Then the squad leader said quietly. Then you become part of the correction. Before Arman could respond, the river beneath the bridge changed state. It did not move. It recalibrated. The black layer that had once surged upward now reorganized downward, like it had synchronized with a new instruction set. The surface of the river no longer behaved like water or reflection, it behaved like suspended information adjusting its own configuration. Arman felt it immediately. Not as sight, but as narrowing. The space of interpretation around him was shrinking. The system was preparing resolution. Then, something interrupted it. A second signal entered the structure. Not loud. Not forceful. But fundamentally incompatible. Arman felt it like a tear forming inside the question itself. As if another version of reality had brushed against this one and left behind an instability that could not be reconciled. The system reacted instantly. Conflict source detected. The soldiers shifted slightly, not in obedience, but recalibration. Their bodies adjusted as if attempting to locate a source that did not exist in physical coordinates anymore. The squad leader's eyes tightened. This wasn't here before, he said. But Arman already understood something worse. The bridge was no longer singular. It had split into overlapping interpretations. Not physically. Structurally. Multiple versions of the same reality were now occupying the same space, each slightly out of phase with the others. In one version, the soldiers were still stable. In another, they were already gone. In another, the river had dried completely. In another, the sky above was untouched, as if nothing abnormal had ever occurred. And in each version, Arman stood in the same position, being asked the same question. But the answer was not consistent. The system detected the divergence immediately. Observer inconsistency detected. The squad leader stepped forward slightly, as if pulled by urgency. "This is accelerating beyond projection," he said. Arman turned toward him. "Projection by who?" No answer came. Because the system no longer communicated through authority. It communicated through alignment. The second signal intensified. Now it was not interference. It was engagement. The structure beneath the bridge began to destabilize, not collapsing, but conflicting with itself. Two governing rules were now attempting to apply contradictory instructions to the same environment. Arman felt something inside him resist again. But this time, it was not emotional resistance. It was structural. The system registered it instantly. Internal resistance threshold increasing. The phrase felt like a countdown disguised as observation. The squad leader raised his radio instinctively. "Command, confirm external override source." Silence. Then the system itself responded. "Command layer unreachable." That response broke something in the soldiers. Some froze completely. Others attempted small corrective movements as if trying to maintain coherence without instruction. One of them whispered something, but it wasn't language anymore. It was fragmented output from a system no longer requiring speech. Arman's awareness fractured further. He could now see multiple versions of the bridge simultaneously. One stable. One rewriting. One dissolving entirely into undefined structure. And between all of them, the question persisted. Do you confirm continuation of the structure? Only now, Arman understood. The question was not about survival. It was about coherence. His answer did not determine whether he lived or died. It determined whether contradiction could exist inside the system without collapsing it entirely. The second signal surged again. Closer. Not spatially. Conceptually. The squad leader staggered slightly. "We're losing hierarchy," he said. Arman turned toward him. "What does that mean?" "It means," the squad leader said slowly, "we are no longer the highest interpretation." That sentence changed everything. Above them, overlapping realities began compressing into interference patterns, not destruction, but forced convergence. Too many versions of the same structure were collapsing into a shared definition space. The system issued its final internal warning. Final coherence check initiated. Arman felt something tighten inside him. Not fear. Decision pressure. The question appeared again. But now it was no longer a question. It was a gate. Do you confirm continuation of the structure? And beneath it, the second signal responded. Not in opposition, but in offer. Arman stood at the center of collapsing realities. Across him stretched incompatible versions of the bridge. Soldiers suspended between states. A river that was no longer one thing. A sky fractured into competing truth. The system waited. The override waited. And Arman chose. The moment his decision registered, the bridge split into two incompatible realities simultaneously. In one, he died before the thought finished forming. In the other, he woke somewhere that had never been part of the bridge at all. The split did not arrive like an explosion. There was no shockwave, no rupture, no dramatic tearing of matter. It arrived like something quieter. Like a rule of reality quietly deciding it no longer agreed with itself. Arman did not fall. He did not rise. He remained suspended in the exact center of a decision that refused to stay whole. The bridge, the soldiers, the river below, even the fractured sky above, everything divided without physically moving, as though existence had been carefully separated along a seam that had always been there, hidden just beneath perception. Then there were two bridges. Not reflections. Not illusions overlapping. Two complete, fully realized versions occupying the same space of awareness, each insisting it was the only correct reality. In the first, chaos had already taken root. Soldiers staggered as their systems failed. Weapons misfired without reason. Radios spat out broken fragments of static and half-formed commands. The squad leader was shouting into a dead channel, his voice cracking as the river beneath them turned unnatural, its surface breaking into unstable, shifting geometry that looked less like water and more like corrupted code. Above them, the sky was tearing apart in slow motion, as though something on the other side was pressing outward, testing the boundary. In the second version, everything remained intact. Too intact. The soldiers stood in perfect formation, motionless and disciplined. Their expressions were neutral, almost erased of individuality. The bridge lights burned steadily, casting clean reflections on a river that flowed normally under a sky that looked artificially calm. No distortion. No fractures. No anomaly. Only order. And Arman existed in both at once. He understood that instantly, not as a thought he formed, but as a condition imposed upon him. In one reality, his breath was shallow and uneven, shaped by fear and heat. In the other, his breathing was controlled to the point of absence. As if even his body had accepted silence. In one, his heartbeat felt too loud. In the other, it barely existed at all. And in both, he was being observed. The system had not ended. It had split. A voice emerged, not from either bridge, but from the space between them, where contradiction overlapped and logic failed to stabilize. Outcome divergence accepted. Arman turned instinctively, searching for the source, but there was none. The voice did not come from a direction. It came from structure itself, embedded across both realities like a command written into the foundation of existence. On the chaotic bridge, the squad leader was shouting something at him, but the words disintegrated before meaning could form. On the stable bridge, that same man stood just behind Arman, watching him silently, as though awaiting confirmation of a decision already executed. Arman tried to speak. Only one version of him succeeded. "Which one is real?" he asked. Neither bridge answered. Because the question no longer applied. The system responded instead. Reality is not singular under active conflict resolution. The words should have been meaningless. But they weren't. Arman could feel it now, the structural difference between the two states. One reality was collapsing under instability. The other was consolidating into enforced coherence. And between them, he was not moving, that he was being distributed. Like something being copied across competing outcomes. On the unstable bridge, a soldier suddenly turned toward him. Not with hostility. With recognition. But that recognition felt wrong, like a misclassification of identity. "Subject is duplicated," the soldier said. On the stable bridge, the same soldier said nothing. He simply blinked once, slowly, precisely, as if correcting a perception error. Arman's thoughts began to strain. "This isn't possible," he muttered. The system responded immediately. "Possibility is dependent on selected continuity." Selected continuity. That phrase sank deeper than anything before it. It implied reality was not breaking. It was being chosen. On the unstable bridge, the river beneath them surged upward, not as liquid, but as fragmented reflections. Within it, Arman saw flashes, moments he did not remember living, places he had never been, conversations that carried emotional weight without origin. It felt like memory without ownership. On the stable bridge, the river remained calm. But beneath its surface, something darker moved faintly. Something that did not match the sky above. Something waiting. The squad leader's voice returned, overlapping both versions but slightly out of sync. We are losing cross-reference stability. Arman turned toward him in the unstable version. What does that mean? The squad leader hesitated. In the stable version, he answered instantly. It means you are not supposed to exist in both. The sentence fractured Arman's awareness. Pressure built inside his perception, as if both realities were trying to reclaim exclusive rights to his existence. The system spoke again. Selection required. Arman froze. On one bridge, soldiers aimed at an unseen threat in the sky. On the other, they remained perfectly still, their eyes tracking him with synchronized precision. Two versions of control. Two versions of threat. And only one outcome permitted to remain. Arman whispered, if I choose one, what happens to the other? Silence followed. Then the system answered. Deletion of non-selected continuity. Not a warning. A process. Arman felt something shift within him, not emotion, but resistance at a deeper level. Structural refusal. As if the act of choosing a single reality was itself a form of damage. And beneath it all, he felt it again. The second signal. Still present. Still separate. No longer interfering, waiting. The unstable bridge began collapsing further. The squad leader in that version stepped toward Arman, shouting something. See. Stop, he said, though he no longer knew who he was addressing. The system responded. Selection window closing. The atmosphere tightened. The overlap between realities began thinning. One version started asserting dominance while the other lost structural coherence. The unstable bridge fractured further, the sky splitting open completely, revealing nothing behind it but deeper instability. The stable bridge remained untouched. But Arman understood something now. One of these worlds was being erased. And he was the mechanism deciding which. The squad leader in the stable version spoke quietly. You cannot hold both. Arman looked at him. Why me? The answer came, not from the man, but from the system. Because you initiated continuation. Arman felt the weight of that phrase like a sentence he did not remember authoring. On the unstable bridge, something beneath the river surged upward again. Not structure. Not entity. But interruption itself given form. Soldiers fired without coordination, their bullets bending midair, losing intent before impact. On the stable bridge, Arman felt something behind him. Not physical. Conceptual. Like absence becoming aware of itself. He turned slowly. And saw it. A third presence. Not belonging to either bridge. Standing between both realities like a seam that had learned to observe. The second signal had fully arrived. And it was no longer waiting. The system reacted instantly. Unauthorized convergence detected. For the first time, both versions of the squad leader stepped back in perfect synchronization. Both realities aligned in fear. Arman's breath caught. Because he understood the truth breaking through the structure of everything around him. The system had never been dividing reality. It had been defending against something outside both outcomes. And that something had just noticed him. The voice returned, not from system, not from structure, but from the seam itself. And it spoke directly to Arman. You chose incorrectly. The two bridges began collapsing toward each other. And in that collapsing convergence, Arman finally understood the true horror. The choice was never between two worlds. It was between containment and being rewritten by what stood beyond them. And as the collapse accelerated, the third presence stepped forward.